I got to high five everybody first. Good morning, everyone. I feel like I should face this way or this way. Hope everyone's doing well in this amazing, beautiful Michigan morning. And today is something that honestly is really special and very personal to me, because here we're going to discuss the opportunities we have to grow the state of Michigan together. And I want to tell a little bit about my personal story for those who don't know, because I think it's very relevant to the conversations we've been having all week, the actions that we'll be taking today, and the conversations that we should be united around for this next year and beyond. I am Michigan born and Michigan made. I spent the first half of my childhood on the east side of Detroit, the second half of my childhood in the northwest suburbs of Detroit. I'm a graduate of the University of Michigan College of Engineering, 2 times over. And when I came of age, I knew what I wanted to do professionally. I wanted to be a software engineer. I wanted to write software and build systems that change the world. And at the time that I graduated, I felt like I needed to go someplace else outside of Michigan to be the professional that I dreamed of. And so I did that. I went to the West Coast. I spent 4 years on the West Coast. I had a career turn and then spent 5 years on the East Coast. And then came back home after a total of 9 years to the city of Detroit to then grow my family and build a future. I wasn't planning on necessarily getting into this realm when I did that. But I came home because I knew in my heart, even when I left Michigan, that this was the best place for me to be my best. But for whatever reason, I felt like I didn't have the assets or I didn't have the opportunities to do it in the way that I wanted to. But today's opportunity that we are really seizing in this moment together at every level in Michigan is about how we can create the conditions for pathways to success to be visible, accessible, and possible for every person who has ever called Michigan home. Especially for those who were born and bred here, we want them to see that they can be who they want to be, that the future that they envision, that the state of Michigan's future is big enough for them to be part of it, and that they will be welcome here. And we also have opportunities to make investments and decisions right now so that anyone, anywhere in the country or in the world, when they think about their future, they will see Michigan as the most compelling place to build it, because they know they will be safe, respected, protected, invested in, and have every opportunity available to them for a future as bright and beautiful as a day like today. And in order to get that done, we all have to work together. We have to think about the assets that we bring to the tables that we sit at or the tables that we organize so that we can make sure that everyone recognizes that they have a place, because our future is big enough and inclusive enough for everyone to be bold enough to be successful. And so the leaders that we have assembled here, the actions that Governor Whitmer is going to take because of her bold leadership and her having a vision that is big enough for all of us, is what I'm so excited about. So that when my children come of age, my twin 9-year-olds, my 3-year-old, when they come of age and they make a choice about who they want to be professionally, they'll know they can do it here in Michigan. And that's what this is all about. And it's how we grow Michigan together. And so I'd like to bring someone up to talk about this who is going to be a leader in this effort that will bring Michiganders together to grow our state. And that is Ambassador John McCulta.
Not quite as tall as him. Got to pull that down. Anyway, Governor, I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity to help reshape Michigan's future going together. I know a little bit about swimming upstream, and I'm entirely grateful that you've decided to have an elder statesman join your team and help your incredibly youthful organization to position Michigan better for the 21st century. Let me also start by saying that I pledge to you my complete hard work, work ethic, integrity, and flexibility in trying to find a solution to growing our population, which has been stagnant for almost 30 years. And I'm particularly grateful for the fact that Shirley Stancato is my co-chair. I think that there is nothing better than the differences that you see visually between Shirley and myself. We have worked together for over 25 years on some of our state's most trying issues. First of all, we worked at New Detroit, Race Relations Council that, quite frankly, did quite a bit in the 8 years that we were there together. And then we served together on the Coalition for the Future of Detroit School Children and brought some stability and a bright future for the city of Detroit. And I don't think that this effort is any less difficult, but I think it's necessary. Our state has been stagnant for over 30 years in terms of population, and one of my favorite geostrategists is Peter Zion, who wrote the book, The Accidental Superpower. And throughout that book, he constantly refers to demography and how important it is to the growth of a society. And our demography is stagnant. We are 50th out of 51 states in the D.C., Washington, D.C., in terms of population growth, and that has to change. We have a number of advantages. We have a very hardworking population. We're educated. We're large. We have world-class research institutions, great universities. We have one thing that many don't have, and you just have to look behind you. We have the most clean, fresh water in the entire world. The disadvantages, however, are striking. We have vastly underperformed the nation in terms of K-12 education. We have an infrastructure that, quite frankly, is collapsing. And most important to me is we lack the cohesion, the cultural cohesion that it takes to compete on a global basis today. I've had first-hand experience with that, listening to my clients. Many of you know that I build auto and battery plants across the globe. And 50 years ago, our company was doing 80% of its work in the state of Michigan, and now the percentages have reversed. We're now doing 80% outside. It's a big job. It's one that I relish. We have to get this done. It's for the future of our great state. And Governor, I look forward to working together with you and getting started. Thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to introduce Shirley Stancato, my partner in this endeavor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be joining the Growing Michigan Together Council as co-chair alongside my good friend, Ambassador John Ricolta. I told him I'm going to say ambassador. I might do it once, but I'm not going to do it many more times. So, you may know that currently I'm vice chair of the Board of Governors of Wayne State University, and I'm a lifelong Michigan resident. I went to elementary school, middle school, got my undergraduate and graduate from Wayne State University. And I've worked hard over the course of my career, first as a banker and then as a nonprofit CEO, to invest in the careers of others, to work on some difficult issues, child poverty, racial justice, educational equity, and economic equity, and helping families and building bridges across communities in Michigan. So the Growing Michigan Together Council is going to build on that work. Population growth is the most urgent challenge facing Michigan today, and you heard John talk about that. The census numbers from the last few decades make that clear. We have a collective responsibility as a state to reverse the tide of Michiganders leaving our state and attract people from outside our borders and perhaps have the opportunity for some folks to come back. One of them is my son who moved to Arizona. When we target population growth, we grow our state's potential and future generations can live, work, and grow their families right here in Michigan. The Growing Michigan Together Council will convene the brightest minds from across Michigan to chart the future of our state. We'll bring together experts from nonprofits, private sector companies, labor, local governments, and academia. As important as the numbers are, this is more than just numbers. It's about more than just the numbers. It's about creating good-paying jobs and retaining more talent. It's also about helping young people, more young people, have the opportunity to go to college and graduate. And we sit at Wayne State University and talk about that all the time. We hear from parents, we hear from students about the possibility of going to college and not having to have so much college debt. It's about building thriving Michigan communities that bring residents here from around the country and from around the world. It's an expression of hope, really, in a brighter future for us. Now, most importantly, how we'll do this work really comes to being. We're going to have to work across the aisle. You've heard John Ricolta talk about the work that we've done together for 25 years. And I understand he's on one side of the aisle, I'm on the other. But I understand that no matter what our political affiliation, we all want to see this state succeed. John and I learned through the years to focus on the issues, and in focusing on the issues and focusing on the things that we have in common, we can really, really, really make a difference. So whether Republican or Democrat, from rural communities to big cities, the Lower Peninsula or the UP, we all want to build vibrant communities where people want to live and work. I want to thank Governor Whitmer for making this a priority, and I'm so excited to get to work with John growing Michigan together. Thank you. Neil.
Thank you. My name is Neil Hegarty with the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation in Flint, Michigan. And thank you, Governor Whitmer, for your leadership on such an important topic. This is exactly the kind of bold and deliberate action that we need to take for the future of our state. I join with you today representing 11 foundations from across the state and across the region that came together to commission and fund the population study that is one of the underpinnings of this council being launched today. With the philanthropic support, Alterum and the Citizens Research Council came together to do deep research and analysis on Michigan's population trends. Through a series of papers that will be released throughout the course of the summer and have already started being released over the last few weeks, Alterum and CRC will unpack and really dive into the data to understand how the population trends are affecting Michigan's workforce, our education system, our economy, our climate resilience, and our infrastructure. Our intent as funders of the research was to understand where our state is going and to put in place a data-driven resource so that we can all make collective action for the future of our state, for all sectors, and for all Michiganders. We sought to have the research widely disseminated, which it has been already, thanks to the project partners and also thanks to Bridge Michigan and other media outlets who have already done some wonderful reporting on the initial results of the population study, so thank you all for that. And we're also really seeking that the report is actively used by all sectors. And what we mean by that is that nonprofits in the state, the business community, and government all use that data to make informed decisions so we can be planful about the future of the state in terms of equity and sustainability and economic competitiveness. We're really pleased with all of the engagement so far, but especially pleased with the action today and the leadership from Governor Whitmer on starting this council to really look at the sustainability and the health of our state going forward. We think in philanthropy, this is one of the perfect examples of the power of public-private partnerships to make good things happen for all of our citizens. So thank you very much. I'd like to introduce Ahmad Nasser. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm Ahmad Nassar. I'm the CEO and creative director of Detroit 75 Kitchen. We're based in Southwest Detroit, and I'm grateful that we are a top 100 restaurant in America as well as a top 3 food truck in the U.S. We have several locations in Comerica Park, and we are also the official food truck of the PGA Tour. Now, before all of this, I was wrapping up grad school at the Ross School of Business in Ann Arbor, and I decided to leave for the UK for a nice, shiny job. And I'm back here today because I wanted to join my family and continue growing the business with my brother. And I'm glad that the governor is taking population growth seriously because we're running out of people to sell sandwiches to, and it seems like people are still hungry. But in all seriousness, I do believe that the momentum is on our side, but we still have a lot of work to do. And we can take a look at myself as an example of what young entrepreneurs are doing in the city and in the state of Michigan. And I have several of my colleagues in the same industry that are thinking about coming back, and it's a step in the right direction. So I'm happy to be a part of this this journey, and I'm excited for the work that the governor is doing. And for now, I'll introduce to you the governor of the state of Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Now everyone knows the real motive is so Ahmad can feed people, right? Well, good morning, everyone. Today we're talking about my favorite topic, which is Michiganders, the people who define this great state, the greatest strength of the state of Michigan. Michiganders are the driver of our economy, of our innovative businesses, and our strong communities, and they embody the spirit of grace and grit. In my State of the State earlier this year, and just yesterday, I focused on how we must come together to help anyone who wants to make it here in Michigan by winning more projects, investing in people, revitalizing places. This conference offers us an opportunity to think about the longer-term actions we can take to help more people build a brighter future here in Michigan. And that's why today I'm excited to be signing an executive order establishing the Growing Michigan Together Council. Now, the council's focus is its name. It's how do we grow Michigan by working together. We aren't just talking about one-dimensional growth. We must grow our population while growing our economy and expanding our cultural influence. I'm thrilled because of the two chairs who have agreed to take this on, Ambassador John Ricolta Jr. and Shirley Sincato, Governor Shirley Sincato, I should say. These are two leaders who are respected, who represent important perspectives, who are recognizing that their duty to the state of Michigan transcends all the other hats that they wear. And that's why I've got confidence in this duo. John is a Republican and, of course, former ambassador to the United Arab Emirates. He brings decades of experience creating jobs in Michigan and seeing how Michigan stacks up to other states, by the way, as the CEO of Wallbridge, a full-service construction company. Shirley is a Democrat who currently serves on the Wayne State Board of Governors. She was the longest-serving president and CEO of New Detroit, Inc., a coalition that brought diverse groups of leaders together to close racial disparities. She was also a top executive at Chase. Growing our state requires a variety of perspectives, and I'm so grateful to John and Shirley for stepping up. Joining them will be leaders from state government, the private sector, nonprofit, labor, and education worlds. We need an all-of-the-above approach to grow our state, and I look forward to seeing what they come up with. It's one of the reasons why I love the theme of this year's conference, the power of and, because this is going to take all of us working together. The Growing Michigan Together Council will have a few key goals. We'll dig into them quickly. First, jobs, talent, and people. The council will identify a specific population goal for 2050 rooted in comprehensive economic development strategy that aims to build safe, vibrant, and more equitable communities that reflect the state's growth in communities of color. They will build a model for growth that creates upward mobility for every Michigander, leverages our state's natural resources and expected climate migration from other states, and build up housing options for people in every income category. The council will also focus on how we can attract and retain a skilled workforce by removing barriers to advancement, alleviating current and future workforce shortages, and measuring our performance against other states. Second, infrastructure and places. The council will develop long-term funding solutions for water and transportation infrastructure and harness the influx of federal resources from the bipartisan infrastructure law to support our growing population. And finally, education. From pre-K to post-secondary, the council will develop recommendations to track and improve student outcomes at every level and measure our progress against top states. We must be a place where everyone can pursue their full potential by ensuring every child gets a great start and has the resources to get in-demand skills training or higher education at low or no cost. We all know that where someone chooses to make their lives is the most important vote of confidence. In Michigan, we have a lot of natural strengths and assets. We have the Great Lakes, we have 4 seasons, economic opportunities for folks with certificates, diplomas, or doctorates, affordable housing, and a low cost of living. The Growing Michigan Together Council will build on those strengths and help us continue delivering on kitchen table issues that impact people's decisions about where to live, like education, infrastructure, and opportunity. So we've made a lot of strides in the last few years. We funded education at record levels, improving classroom experiences, growing the teacher profession, lowering the cost of pre-K and post-secondary. We've brought jobs back home, breathing new life into every region of our state in cutting-edge industries, mobility, chips, clean energy, to name a few. Replacing thousands of lead lines and 20,000 lane miles and 1,400 bridges, expanding high-speed internet to 23,000 homes across Michigan. So we're headed in the right direction. There's a reason people in Michigan feel optimistic, because we can see a brighter future. Today is about making sure that we've got the plan to realize all of that potential. This work will not be done in 3.5 years. This work cannot be rested in one person, administration, or political party. This is about every one of us, and that's why this council is a real plan to move our state forward. So with that, I thank you. I thank, most importantly, our chairs for taking this work and this job, and I know you're going to work hard, and we're going to really, I think, forge a great path for the state of Michigan. I thank you both for taking this on. Thank you.
We have time for a couple questions from the media, probably just due to timing. Clara?
Governor, are you hoping to grow the state's population by like a certain percent by a certain year? And if that's not how you're measuring success, how will you be tracking that?
So I will let one of the co-chairs step up if they'd like to. I think, Clara, part of the reason that we wanted to create the council and populate it with experts and different perspectives was to really set what that goal is so that we can measure our progress, put together the blueprint, if you will, about what the work needs to be and what we are shooting for. But I think the engagement, we will know in short order, and especially by the conclusion of the 6 months that they'll be working on this, what those specifics look like more. But any of the chairs? Okay, there you go.
Paula?
Hi. Some of the goals of the plan already exist when we talk about measurements, and I'm thinking about business leaders for Michigan. So like looking beyond those, tell me what the barriers are here to some of the success and what you plan, because we already have some of this information.
Well, I think, fortunately, there are a lot of different groups doing good work in this space on a variety of projects, whether it is some of the work that MITA is doing around infrastructure. That will be a data point that will be part of the conversation as they talk about infrastructure. Same with whether it's Launch Michigan or BLM. A lot of different great organizations are doing some work here. What we really need, I think, is a non-political overarching strategy that will focus our efforts and make use of the research that has been done and continue to do more in spaces where we think there still is need to study. Yeah.
One last question.
Governor, I think Ambassador Rakolta mentioned that there's been 30 years of stagnant population in Michigan. What changed that now is the time to do this? Why not 4 years ago? Why not 15 years ago?
So I can't speak for 15 years ago. I can tell you this, though. The great part of the Michigan story is that people moved to this state from around the world for a good paying job, a shot at getting into the middle class, good education for their kids, a high quality of life at a low cost of living. We still have all of those strengths. Some of them maybe we have some work to do on, but we still have that to offer. 20 years ago, people were looking outside the state for opportunity because it wasn't here. It is now. And I think one of our challenges in Michigan is harnessing all these assets and doing it in a way that takes the politics out of the conversation so that we can really be focused with a team Michigan mentality. It can't be led by a single person. Every administration's talked about it, but I think this is a real earnest plan to get the politics out, because the work will not be done in 3.5 years when I leave office and a new person takes the oath. But the work's got to start now in earnest, and that's what we're undertaking with this council.
We'll move to signing now.
All right, I will sign it. Thank you all so much.